Welcome back, everyone, to Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz, and Mr. JB. And for today's episode, we have a special guest joining with us. He is a former four-time Singapore League champion and two-time Singapore Cup champion who also made six caps for Singapore. He is probably a legend in the game, of course, for our Singapore League. Please welcome Mr. Mustaqim Manzoor. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing fine right now. I just had dinner, trying to get the kids to bed.
Uh,
All good here, all good here.
Oh, okay. I mean, yes, doing your father duties.
That's right, that's right.
Firstly, of course, we want to say thank you for joining with us, to take your time to do this with us.
Yes,
And
thank you for having me.
just in case, just for the newer generations or for the younger viewers who may or may not know, maybe you can share with us a little bit of yourself of like, how do you get into football? Like, who do you idolize? And for how many, you can share with us as well, like how many teams that you have played throughout your lifetime career. Just give a brief intro of yourself. Would that be
Okay,
okay?
sure. I actually started playing football as early as during my primary school days back in.
Yeah.
My Malay teacher actually introduced me to football back when I was in P1 actually.
Okay.
when I when I of when I am of what how do you say it of a Milo age under 12, I was sent over to this Milo soccer school for selection. Okay,
Okay.
to cut the story short, I started playing professional football back in 2002. I made my debut for Home United that time.
Ah.
Yeah, so Mr. Yaakob Hashim gave me my debut lah. So after that, then I never looked back. Got my first professional contract with the Young Lions actually in 2003. That was the first batch of the Young Lions team lah.
Okay.
And after that, then I applied my trade the longest with Singapore Armed Forces actually from 2005 to about 2011.
Yeah.
And that's where I had my most fruitful years in professional football.
Yeah.
And after that, then I went over to Gombak and then to Home United and then to Geylang, which I finished my career back in 2014. No, actually, yeah, 2014, 2015. If I'm not wrong. Yes, 2015 is my last year as a professional.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, that's right. So it has been, I'm blessed in a way that I managed to make football career in that sense.
I mean, to be fair, we are also blessed to see you in the game as well, because trust me, throughout when we were growing up, we see your name, we see a lot of like, old school player names, like probably back then there was like Ahmad Latif, Noah Alam Shah,
That's right, that's right.
Mazrezwa Masturi. I can name so
Yeah,
many, so
correct,
this
correct,
is
correct.
like throughout the times when we were growing up, we grow up to see you, and now here we are talking to you. It feels kind of surreal a bit, right? Yeah.
I'm still quite honored to be remembered.
Yeah, no. I guarantee remember that's for sure.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
just a quick one. I just want to ask or share a bit before
Okay,
I let Mr. JB as well to have a bit of Q&A with you.
okay.
I'm not sure whether you noticed, but actually, you have a Wikipedia. I'm sure you are probably aware of that. That you have
Yes,
your
I
own.
am aware.
Yes. Surprisingly, they never say that you retired. It says that you are currently playing from Geylang from 2014 till present. I'm not sure whether you
I bet.
noticed. Yeah.
Actually, I did, but I bet somebody who was updating that wiki page didn't update anymore lah. Who got
Oh.
tired of it or what. Yeah, that's right. Or maybe I did not make my retirement official. I don't know. Is there such a thing? You
Uh,
just fade away, I guess.
just kind of.
I don't
So,
know.
so are you
Yeah.
technically still active or part-time active?
Nah, in the professional scene, no. In the amateur scene, also no. Nah. In the leisure, I'm still playing around
No,
with my
okay.
son, with my friends lah.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. All right, Mr. JB. First, of course, Mr. JB is here as well. I need to ask you as well, as I
Okay.
always. How you been doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Faiz. Thanks for asking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
So,
great.
do you have a question for our special guest for today?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting. I mean, back in the day where we used to watch, these players, especially like Mr. Mustaqim here as well. I think one of the, I would say, standout, although it sounds a bit irony, but he, as in, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mustaqim, but you see very those kind of low profile kind of player, you know,
Eh,
like in
yeah,
person.
Probably I settled down with a family quite early in my playing days. So
Okay.
I'm also that sort of guy who prefers the quiet life, who prefers the small groups. Do not enjoy the late nights out lah. Late nights out, yes. For supper, yes. And then with close
At times,
friends,
probably.
correct. With my family, yes. But other than that, parties and whatnot, it's not my cup of tea.
Right.
Cross
So
my guts.
yeah. I mean, that's quite pleasing to hear. But at the same time, was football your first choice as a career? Like
Oh,
back then when you were growing up, was it like set to stone, I'm gonna be a footballer, a professional footballer, or was it something else and then along the way you transitioned to football?
as far as I could remember, I could still remember the words I spoke to my mom. Actually, I was 5. We were walking to the market, encouraged me, but she said, "You can play, but you make sure you study as well." That's all she said. So I think it started out very early at a young age where I wanted to really play football. And and then it really cemented my ambitions when my dad actually brought me to the stadium. I could still remember that game. It was I'm not sure which year though. I was still quite young. We walked from Kallang MRT all the way to the National Stadium to watch Singapore beat Selangor 5-2 back then.
Oh, wow.
So that's when I say, okay, I made up my mind. This is what I want to do. To put food on the table, to pay the bills.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite lucky because as you know, our league isn't the biggest around here at the same
I
time. But
understand.
yeah, but at one point I do believe as you shared, during your experience to watch it, I think during the Malaysia Cup times, football was pretty big back then.
That's right.
Yep. So just a quick one, I think, before we get to the more harder questions.
I understand.
Yep. Just would you be possible to share with our listeners and also to us,
Okay.
what do you think is the major difference between football back then and now, like in terms of the fan culture, the fan base, and also the interest, lah, I believe. I mean, I'm not saying that nowadays perhaps the kids are not so much interested in football, but in terms of the local,
The local scene,
yeah, correct, exactly, the local in the league, perhaps, I mean, back then when S League first started, I believe it was quite big during Kadi
Yeah.
Aya's time and Fandi's time and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what do you think is the
Stadiums were
main
full
difference?
still.
Yeah,
Then stadiums were
exactly.
still full. I think it's the star power back then. And then furthermore, coupled with the overexposure for foreign football leagues, are also playing a part. Not saying that when we were growing up, that the football from the English league or the Italian league was not on TV, but it's pretty difficult to access back then. But and then also coupled with the other forms of entertainment right now, you've got your social media, you've got your other forms of earning a living as well. I don't know, maybe it's not as attractive. It's harder, I guess. It's not easy, man, to be a professional. Maybe kids nowadays feel that they only get to see the beautiful part of the game. So once they get into the football, and then they see, hey, this is what I must do. Whether I can make it or not.
That's right.
And then also, I also cannot pinpoint just the player's fault. It could be an entire ecosystem that is a problem. Where you need quality coaches, quality infrastructure, and whatnot. I've been preaching this for ages, I tell you, since I was playing. But I do not know. I do not want to get involved into that kind of controversy or whatever. But but all I can say is there's proof is the first game of the league lah. How many seats are filled? You tell me lah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm about lah. So it's a big difference from back then. But I do not know why. Maybe the marketing side of the game, the exposure. But with social media, it should be better, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the
it's free advertising, man.
Correct. I agree. I mean, that is one of the points that I wanted to touch on actually, because even leading up, I mean, as the time of this recording, we actually just started the first games of the SPL. And and even back then also when I was trying to look through, some of the social media, in fact, even our local newspaper, the Straits Times, there isn't much reporting, there isn't much build up, to the new season, and were to ask me also, I'll struggle to name at least 5 players from one SPL team even. Like just to name them from start to end, yeah.
I actually echo that sentiment as well. I also cannot name that many players apart from those who are playing in the national team, right? Other than that, I cannot name them. So apart from that, I think the powers need to actually pull some more weight lah. In a sense, meaning football is a nation building sport. It gets people together. So
That's right.
if you want to have a certain form of identity, why not through sport, right? Other than anything else, I think sport is the best form to actually, especially football, where it's the biggest sport in the world. So if you
It is, yeah.
if you want to build a nation, get them, rally them together, I think it's the best thing to do. But unfortunately, with the bad results with the national team, not say bad, okay, not say that, it's a poor form at the moment, right? Which I hope we've seen, how to say, we'll be seeing an improvement in the future, in the time to come.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I mean, especially now, I believe our national team also is currently taken over by a new manager who just took over for just a couple of years.
That's
So
right.
definitely, we know that it's gonna take a lot of time, regardless of who we have.
That's right.
It's a rebuild process almost every time we go through it. So okay, I have a question as well for you. Again, it's a Q&A for you for now. So basically, I wanted to ask that you were saying that the first match that you went was the Singapore Selangor, and that's where you kind of like tell yourself you want to play football and kind of got into it. So was there any player that you idolized locally or globally at that point of time? Like, who do you idolize that you got into?
I'm not sure whether at that time Hasnim was playing with the National Lions or not. Hasnim Harun.
Hasnim Harun.
You know, Hasnim Harun was a winger back then, or in the midfield, but his style of play was very attractive. And also Kade was one of my idols also back then. He was a workhorse back then. I really enjoyed watching him play.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the world context, my favorite player would be Roberto Baggio. And then I first fell in love with football. Apart from the local scene, which is the Singapore Selangor, right?
Yeah.
When I first encountered the World Cup back in 1990, that was my first World Cup encounter. I watched it, and then I saw Skilacci scored that goal. I said, "Oh, this is my team, the Azuris." And so and then I saw Roberto Baggio play. I said, "Oh, this guy is something else."
Oh yeah, Italy in the 90s or something else.
Yeah. Something else, man, I tell you. And then the Italian league back then also. That's why I also watched the English Premier League quite recently. Only 10, 15 years only. Or 20 years, I guess. Oh, that's quite a long time actually, yeah. But during my growing up stages, during my schooling days, I actually enjoyed watching Italian football.
Right. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, correct.
Then is there any team that you're supporting at the moment?
At the moment right now, I've been a Pool fan ever since I met my wife. She's an ardent Liverpool fan.
Wow.
So in fact, I've got this is a Liverpool home.
Well, I think clearly you can see I'm an Arsenal fan.
I understand. I'm quietly hoping for Arsenal to take it.
Yeah, and my co-host, Mr. JB, might not be too friendly with you because maybe you want to tell him who you're supporting.
Yeah, I think it's definitely no surprises there, lah. You know, from that laugh we all know, lah. Which team am I supporting? I'm unfortunately, okay, I won't say unfortunately, lah, but unfortunately for this season, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Okay.
Are you trying to say this season you're a Manchester United fan, but next season you're not? You're saying
no. I mean, no. I mean, there's a saying in football. Yeah, you can change anything and everything, but not your club.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we show our loyalty to our club more than anything. So
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the football camaraderie is really very strong, especially in the English Premier League and all that. Yeah, but I'm quite surprised, Mr. Mustaqim, since you said that you are a fan of Roberto Baggio. Were there any one time you tried to spot that ponytail or that hair that he got?
If I were to spot that ponytail, I would look like Wong Fei Hong, man, not Roberto Baggio. So I cannot pull that off.
All right.
I cannot pull it off.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. And then I think my next question will be quite interesting.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think throughout your career you played more as a winger.
That's right, either left or right.
Okay. So was that
Mm.
your first choice? Like coming into
Ah,
football, I believe people usually have a position to play, but sometimes along the way, that kind of change through
oh,
coaches and all that. So yeah, perhaps you can share.
okay. Funnily, that's always been my position. Apart from school, once you can run, you can dribble a bit. People will put you up front, really. But I will definitely drift to the right or left. Inadvertently, if I were to be put as a striker in school, I would somehow drift to the left or drift to the right. Maybe because I am more comfortable there, and then I get to see more of the field from there, and then I get to actually showcase my talents on that spot. I prefer to actually provide assists more than scoring.
Oh,
So those
wow.
crosses are really something else. And then also credit to Man United, the Man United team where Beckham was around. So yeah, I've always enjoyed playing in the wings. Either left or right is fine. So how I got into playing on the left or right is I've got younger brothers as well, especially my second brother. We used to compete all the time on the basketball court. Who can
Ah.
kick better on their weaker foot, who can hit better, who can that. And then we ended up fist fighting. Normal lah, like brothers.
I mean,
So yeah,
that's standard siblings right
that's how
there.
we enjoyed lah. Correct. So from there we improve lah, and then I get to play on the left or right lah.
Ah, right.
That's how I enjoyed my football lah, actually. I'm blessed lah to actually be able to play on my preferred position.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's quite interesting. But I think leading up to your later career years, I think when you were playing for Geylang, I'm not sure how true is this, but perhaps you can confirm. I think at some point you were more in the central role at some point.
That's quite true actually. Once
Mm.
you hit your 30,
Mm.
your afterburners
Your
are gone
pace.
already. Your afterburners finish already. Then you
Yeah.
to start to get smarter. So I always tell the younger boys, you got to get smarter in the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you study the game earlier at an earlier age, you know what you're supposed to do. Then you do not need to use much of your energy.
Right.
You can use your guile more. Then once you
Mm.
need your energy, then you can use. So yeah lah. When I was in Geylang, the last 2 years of my career. Excuse me, sorry, what's that?
Oh, no
Yeah.
worries. No worries.
Okay. So she was I meaning you see, like, she really got me off guard. Okay. I mean, I was playing in the center lah. So back then, Coach York Steinbrenner actually saw certain qualities in me that since I'm able to use both feet, right, and then I can actually, have a quite an okay vision in the center, so I can actually supply those
Mm.
passes lah for those more pacey players like Hafiz Noor, Shawal,
Mm.
and Ridwan, and also
Oh, yeah.
to
Okay.
get to my tongue, but unfortunately.
Yeah. I believe at one point Geylang is quite a
Yeah,
formidable force to be reckoned with, especially with the names over there.
Correct.
But I think as you shared, your one of your most decorated period was with Warriors lah.
That's right.
As in Warriors back then was SAF.
Mm.
So so I believe during that point, I believe it was quite jam packed, the number of, like, I would say, star players
Yeah, plus the
in that
foreign
team.
talents and whatnot.
Yes, correct.
We were every single position, maybe at least two players who can actually
Mm.
fill up this position. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
then
right.
playing time wasn't as often as I would like lah. Well,
Mm.
if you were to want to compete with Noah Ali Imran Lomri, then you
Yeah.
got John Wilkinson, then you got Ahmad
Yeah,
Latif,
that's
Yeah.
right.
how to play.
That's right.
But
That's right.
fortunately,
Mm.
how to say, I thank God also lah. I managed to get a few minutes, get a
Mm.
few quality minutes there as well, which actually helped my game.
Yeah. So
These guys are really invaluable.
yep. So basically, is it correct to say that the competition, especially in the national team, was quite tough because of this larger pool of talented players back then during your playing time?
Yeah, this the particular generation, back in the day, until the 84 batch, until the 85 batch, until the Fazrul Nawal and Hafiz, Hafiz, right, the late Hafiz, the Fazrul and who's that guy? Fazrul Nawaz and
Fazrul Nawaz, yeah.
Khairul Amri's batch, right? All these guys are really amazing. Back then until the Indra Shadans and the
Yeah.
Subramani, ID Iskandar. it was really tough, man, to actually get into the national team.
Yeah, to actually break into it.
Yeah.
Yep. So my next question to Mr. Mustaqim is actually quite interesting one because during his warrior times, playing for the Singapore Armed Forces, I believe that's one of the most decorated moments. So when you get to play with players, like in particular like Jurich, etc., what is the one advice that you can probably give during your playing time back then to probably the current crops of players, like you know
I understand.
any sort of advice perhaps that you can share?
For me, Alexander Durik is the epitome of a professional.
Yeah.
His work ethic, his discipline, he takes care of his diet. But ultimately, it's how much you want it. By saying that you really want it doesn't cut it. By posting on Instagram, by posting your training sessions doesn't cut it. You must do the hard work. That's all I can actually give advice to the younger players. Whatever you see on TV, whatever you see on social media, whatever the good things that footballers do nowadays, it's all done by the paddling, the hard paddling the ducks do underneath the water. So it's all about the hard work. Nothing, no shortcut.
Yeah, I truly believe that that's probably the right way. If anyone, it applies in anywhere in life, right? Not just football.
Correct. Yeah,
If
of course,
want something, you can you have to do it. Be disciplined.
Correct. That's why I told my son. He's currently in the Young Lions squad right now.
Oh,
I told him,
is he playing the same position as you?
nothing beats hard work, boy. He's no, he's in the back line. He plays center back or in the number 6 or the number 8. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's
if
good.
you know the correct. He doesn't play the wings. He is not blessed with my pace, but he's blessed with quite a good physique. He's quite tall. He's about 6'2".
Oh wow, yeah, that is tall.
6'2". Yeah, quite tall.
That's taller than probably all of us.
Yeah, he's very tall. So that's why Coach Nazri pushed him back to in the center back or the full back roles.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have one more question on my side. Before I'll let Mr. JB anything. If you can pick one moment of your career to be the best moment of your whole football career, what would it be?
The best moment is my debut with the national team. To be given that letter and say, hey, you're called up to the national team. That is the ultimate goal for any professional to don the colors of your national team, to have that flag on your chest. I want to relive that again. Nothing else.
I mean,
nothing else.
Sure. That is probably the pinnacle of it, right?
Correct. That's the pinnacle of it.
Yeah, because if you are being
Nothing
recognized
beats
by the
that.
national, you are already there. That's pretty much
You're
goal.
somewhere there. That's right.
All right, Mr.
You are
JB, any final few
the blue tick.
questions? Yeah, that's true.
I believe to us the best and all that is of course all great lah. But like what Mustaqim mentioned also, about the hard work, etc. I believe a lot of hard work goes into behind the scenes to even get the letter, to even get that call up and earn. So yeah, so I believe you being a midfielder, creative winger, like providing assist as you shared, you prefer assisting than scoring goals. So not so much on the limelight per se, because most of the time the goal scorers are the ones who, put it up front, etc. But was there at any one point in your career where you were given the captaincy role, or perhaps you want to be the captain for any teams that you played so far?
Actually, once in a while, I was given the captaincy role over in Geylang, but that one also you will rotate with Ridwan. But I think Ridwan is I prefer being the voice behind the captain. Understand? You may be holding on to the captain, but sometimes being a captain, you're not the leader.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but like how I see myself also to be in the peripheral lah, but actually try to influence and try to be a positive influence lah to the players and also to assist the captain in that form. So yeah. But I do not cover the captaincy lah. I do not cover that band. That's not my style. I do that.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So the point about coming to the tail end of your football career,
That's
was
right.
that a personal choice being made, or like perhaps earlier on in your career you say, okay, I want to stop at the age of maybe a particular age,
Understand.
or is it throughout the time you figure that like
I
what you said,
understand.
your pistons and everything is slowly
Correct.
not working, it's here and there, there's
Uh,
niggles, so perhaps it's time to hang the boot. So perhaps you
understand.
can share with us, like what is the so-called decision factor for your retirement per se.
I realized that football, my football career will be coming to an end when they actually came out with this ruling. Remember or not? That you can only sign 5 players over the age of 30.
Yes.
Do you remember that particular
Yes,
year
yes.
where they said that, and then suddenly they had to backtrack and say, oh no lah, this one I thought competitions and all that, right? They had trouble with the tripartite agreement and the MOM and whatnot.
That's right.
Yeah, so I said, then I realized that football, I think time is up for me. Coupled with age as well, and then so that's when I started to actually tap into the oil and gas industry lah. Went for courses and whatnot lah, and then that's where I am today lah, in the oil and gas industry.
Okay, that's pretty
I
interesting.
actually dabbled in coaching also. Went for my C license, but I do not have the patience lah. I cannot do coaching, man. Read the book like that, I cannot.
Okay. So
I cannot do
basically,
it.
the doors for football, for any managerial role, coaching role, is not is
No
not
lah, not
is out of the picture.
it's totally out of the picture lah. I rather enjoy my football watching it right now lah, rather than barking orders on the sideline lah. It might make me fall out of love of the game if I were to be on the touchline lah. Maybe even though I have I have enough experience and insight lah to actually do it, but it's not for me. I rather enjoy it over by the couch and with friends lah, over drinks.
Yeah. And maybe like a
Yeah.
podcast like this, like what we have.
That's right. This is better like this. Some people are born to be football coaches and some are just maybe pundits.
Yeah. Most
You're
of
more
them
than
end up
welcome
in
to be a
pundit.
pundit here. I don't mind at all.
I'll try to find the time if you guys can welcome me. I don't mind.
Yeah,
Hey,
for
no
sure,
worries.
that'd be good.
You are more than welcome here. So, all right. So,
Yeah.
I guess we can finally get in touch with our first topic and pretty much the only topic for today,
Sure.
which is,
Okay.
of course, we're going to stick to SPL because we have talked so much about throughout your careers
Understand.
over the past and all that. So, if I can ask you, Mr. Mustaqim, if there's one
wait
thing...
lah.
Oh.
Just call me Moose lah. Mr.
Okay. Okay, Mr.
Moose.
Mr. Moose. So sorry.
Moose.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's one difference that you can see or take from the time that you're playing versus the current standard of Singapore Football League now, what's the major difference from the time that you play versus the current season now?
The current season and at the time I'm playing. Okay lah. I have to give credit to where credit is due right now. I think maybe right now the football is a bit more technical with VAR and whatnot. They have to be a bit more. They have to think twice about going to tackles right now. Where back then we were a bit more swashbuckling type of footballers, right?
Yeah.
And then also with that said, right, I think they had the technical aspect of the game. Probably they are a bit more technical right now lah. Compared to back then. I can be wrong, but it's not evident though on the pitch. Right? I can see the quality. Maybe what's wrong, man?
Yeah.
I do not know how to touch it though, but one aspect also is maybe the import players should be better. Once you get better import players, and then people can see how well they behave, how well they play, and then people can aspire to that. Our local boys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Other than that, I feel that it's a different game. Even when you want to compare football 5 years ago, in general, 10 years ago, is very different. When to compare, I don't think it's a fair comparison lah. But my one take is I feel that the football was more exciting back then. That's why people come and watch. Right?
I mean, that's true. I mean, I'm not saying they're not exciting now, but it's just it's very different. We can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's very different though. But I don't know how best to touch lah. What is the difference? But I hope the players right now can actually try to garner some excitement lah to for
Hmm.
the fans to come and show up lah.
That's true.
That's
That's
their
true.
challenge right now to actually
Yeah.
get people to come and watch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And speaking about hoping to have more excitement, I know new season has kicked in. So, Mr. JB, I got
Mm-mm.
a question for you as well. Seeing a first
Mm,
matches all around now, except for I believe Tanjung Pagar, who have yet to
yeah.
play. And I
Mm,
think what in our previous episode we were giving our previews and like predictions of like who's gonna win. We were having like a prediction game between ourselves. And I think one of the what we share was the more exciting. Initially, we were hoping for the 10 team, but it didn't happen.
yep.
When they were saying about Tengah FC
Happy.
gonna join,
Yep.
didn't happen. So we ended up only being excited for basically Albirex turning local, no
Yeah.
longer like
Somewhat.
a pure Japanese team. And well, they didn't had the best of start in their game, losing 3-1 to Tampines. And Mr. JV, looking at the first round of fixtures, any surprises?
Yeah. I mean, I would say. I mean, we're referring to just the particular LB Rex and Tampines. I mean, sorry, BG Tampines.
Yeah, BG Tampines now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the surprise factor there is, I mean, it's there lah. I mean, knowing the league, right? Every game can be full of surprises,
Yeah.
but yeah. But at the same time, you can see lah somewhat. There's quite a contrast lah with the Albirex that we used to know, especially the previous season and all that. Uh, but then again, it's early days. Uh, they still have somewhat good balance between the senior players and the younger ones.
Yeah.
But at the moment, looking at it, I think in terms of depth, it seems like BG Tampines uh, have a much wider squad depth, it seems,
Mm.
this season.
Mm.
Because they managed to retain most of their players. Not much changes, as far as I can see, compared to last season in terms of their player rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the more surprising one was, I believe, at the end of last season, they were saying that Yase, thank you and everything, but then they managed to re-sign him back, Yase Hanapi. So
That's a
yeah,
funny one. How can
Yeah.
somebody like Yase not have a club? That's a very funny one.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is something quite surprising. So actually,
Very well. Yeah.
it's quite a pleasant surprise lah to see the team actually offering him something like back, because I do feel that he can contribute
That's right.
a
Yeah.
lot
You
more
still
lah.
got plenty more
Yeah.
to contribute to the sport. Actually.
Yep, that's right. I believe
Yeah.
I'm not sure lah, because I don't know him personally, but he seems to be such a hard worker lah on the pitch.
Very
Especially
passionate is
amongst
what they say.
yep, especially amongst the local boys lah. Oh
I do
yeah,
not
so I
know
would
him
say,
that well also lah, but from a footballing standpoint, from matches that I've seen him play,
mm,
not personally, but he's a good addition to any team, and he can walk into any team.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right.
So I believe just to run it off, yeah.
Hmm.
Still early days for LB-Rex lah, I would say. I wouldn't
Only
call it
first
like a
game.
panic button yet. Yeah, I mean, it's still first
Mm.
game, you can tell people are seeing it. But yeah, but since you mentioned about the league, I was just wondering, I just want to throw a question to Moose here.
Okay.
What do you think of Lion City Sailors, like from the time they become privatized and all that, bringing the excitement back in the club at one
Previously
point,
Home
people
United.
were,
So-
previously Home United, to
Correct.
now.
Yeah, quick
Mm,
trivia. I actually gone through my youth setup with Police FC and Hope United since I
Oh,
was 13 years old. Yeah, from 13 up till the Prime League. We
wow.
were. I was under the tutelage of Mr. Bernard Lan and Mr. Razali.
Ah,
I don't think he's in the system anymore, Mr. Razali. But I actually am very much a Home United boy until my
wow.
professional career. Yeah. So, so actually, I hope the other clubs or maybe the other billionaires out there with any other platform can purchase all our clubs lah.
Yeah, sure.
and
Give a bit
follow
more
the
freedom.
Lions and follow the Lion City framework, Lion City Sailors framework, which is quite a good that's the only way to do it with money.
Yeah, true.
With
I mean,
money, you
money
can do
kind
it.
of
Yeah,
makes everything works, right? So
yeah, it smooths the smoothen the process.
that's true. So I guess this may have answered the question that I was actually gonna ask.
Okay.
Basically, are you a Lion City Sailor fan for this season, or is there any particular team that you
Oh,
follow this season?
actually, not at the moment.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm only trying to look forward to when my son is playing that song. If not
Okay.
for to be honest, if not for my son, I still watch games, but I do not follow a particular team.
Yeah.
Since I've been playing what Young Lions, I mean, Home United, no, Home United maybe Lion City still I might follow lah. You know,
Yeah.
those maybe certain friends still playing, right? Maybe I watch Hassan play.
Yeah.
I follow some friends lah who are still playing. I watch them
All right.
at the comfort of my own home. But that's the thing. You see, that's the thing lah. It's a double-edged sword. You see, when you provide viewership at home, people do not want to come to the stadiums,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
of the comfort.
I mean,
So unfortunately,
that's the like what you say. It's a double-edged sword. You
mm,
we want to enjoy it in person, but then at one point of time, we all know we're not allowed to go in enjoy any of those
mm,
like pandemic times and
correct.
all that. So
Yeah,
everything is
correct,
now
correct,
via social media, and ever since then, I
correct.
think we're just kind of used to it.
Yeah. So apart from the football, it should be a more of a family event, so that
Yeah,
more people can come to the stadiums.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but unfortunately, because since the football at the moment isn't the main pulling factor, unfortunately, you have to have other things that can push people into the stadiums in
That's
order to do
true. That's
something. Yeah.
Yep, and also speaking of stadiums, I'm not sure
Mm.
if Moose is aware. I think this season also the stadium has been reduced. It seems
Correct.
like more teams are
I'm
sharing
aware.
stadiums. So for this kind of arrangement, I think I don't think the crowd pullers will be there lah, because back then
Correct.
stadiums were all near housing estates where it's easier to
That's
access.
right. And then furthermore, they have a
So
certain sense of identity lah. Tampines in
correct,
Tampines,
correct.
Sembawang Yishun and all that lah.
Yep.
Now,
At least
how to find identity?
Yep.
Difficult lah.
So when there's no identity, there's no rivalries. So back
Ah,
then, all these clubs are just names, without any
hmm,
Yeah.
fan base. Like, although yeah, there are some,
correct.
there are some fan base like the Hougang Hools and all that. They are
Yeah.
quite
Correct, correct,
they are quite
correct. They're
well
quite.
established.
Hmm,
They are quite have a quite robust fan base lah. But for the rest,
that's right.
you can see, it kind of drift here and there, so to speak.
Hmm,
So yeah, but I believe that's probably a topic for another day lah.
correct, correct. Well, my respect to them actually lah, to actually be able to find the time to come down to
Yeah.
actually lend their support to their favorite team. I really respect them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in all honesty, any form of support or encouragement, and especially when it comes to Singapore football in
Mm-hmm.
general, we are more than open to anything. Which is
Correct,
why,
correct.
at times, when there was a news hit about a hopeful to have a 10 club, which is a Tengah FC, but it didn't happen.
Correct.
That does feel a bit of a letdown coming into this season, but hey, nonetheless,
Mm,
football still goes on. Hopefully, maybe next
mm,
season they might make a shout for
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
I can look for.
Moose, what do you make of this 10 club? Do you feel like at some point we have to expand the league, or like the current system right now isn't as exciting as how it is? Because I've seen and heard some people may say, like, to be fair, our league is kind of like a super league where there's no relegation, only one person or one club wins, and everything else just remains the same. Nothing else changed. So,
Yeah,
what was missing from it based on your experience?
my only way to actually, not say my only way lah.
Yeah.
One of the ways maybe to actually gain some more excitement is the relegation and promotion system.
Yeah.
The our policy makers actually must try to convince the money makers to actually inject some more funds into the second tier to
Yeah.
make them more competitive, make them more professional, so
Yeah.
that we can have a two-tiered system, so that those clubs who are not making are not up to mark, they have to go down.
Yeah.
And those clubs who are improving, who are, how to say, doing well should be promoted. So I think that is one of the ways to actually gain to gather some excitement for the league. Other than, to be fair, I'm not much of a fan of foreign-based clubs playing into the league. It discredits the league. It makes the league less, how to say, credible, to put it
Yes.
simply.
Correct. Yeah.
Because why? You guys, people would say, hey, why you need foreign teams, under 23, Harimau Muda, all these teams to come and play. Your countrymen cannot play, man, or you don't have enough people to play. Right? Not enough. So it looks bad. It looks bad on many levels, not just
It is.
footballers.
It is.
On many levels, it looks bad. But I don't doubt. Unfortunately, it's a money thing.
Yeah.
How much I want to invest, how much I can get back. So
That's true. I
it's
mean,
not translating
especially I
very
can
well.
totally understand when you're saying like, I mean, not saying like we don't want any foreign teams. We are more than welcome for any form of competition. But if it comes to a
Correct.
point where a foreign team dominates your own national league, at some point, which I believe we all know before Albirex turned local, it was Albirex who was just dominant
correct.
for a while, and it just kind of
lah.
discredits like what you said.
So right now, to actually put Albirex as a local team is just to what? Trying to weaken them so that they don't
It's a nerf, yeah.
run
It's a
away.
nerf on that.
Correct, right? It's
Yeah.
I don't understand, man. People. That's how people are seeing it. Wow, is that the only way for Albirex not to win the league? To make them local, to inject more local players. Why are they trying to say what local boys are not good? That looks very bad, right?
Yeah,
I
true,
don't know
true.
lah.
I mean, yeah, which comes to, I guess, my question again to you, Mr. JB. Like, will this be a runaway league for Lion City Sailors, or will there be another team that will actually step up to it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, in any league, I don't want it to be to the point where, like if you look at our neighbors, right, the Malaysia Super League,
Yeah.
right? How it turns
JDT
JDT, you see,
winning everything
where
every
the
year.
where the gap is like too far, like really, really too far, to the point where I'm not sure if it's benefiting the league lah, But but at the same time, I'm quite pleased to say that at least in terms of Lion City Sailors currently not that far off lah. I do feel like clubs like BG Tampines and hopefully the new they call it localized LP Rex or something like that. Hopefully can sort of give a bit of competition lah. Because we also don't want at one point where teams are running away with the title and then at the same time the rest are just playing for what third, fourth, fifth, sixth, which is like nothing. Then there's no consequences. Yeah, and I believe in also past episodes also like what I always spoke to Faiz also regarding the Young Lions project. And I believe Moose is also part of the Young Lions project. I believe you made a debut team, right? I mean, you
Correct,
shared
the
point of time.
pioneer batch lah.
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, these are some of the things that I feel that our league could be, could have done better lah to tweak, because we also don't want, at some point, like what I was sharing with Faiz in our past podcast, whereby no disrespect to Young Lions, but if you are constantly losing games every season without having any form of consequences, like what is the message that you're trying to get at, So it seems like most of the players who are playing for Young Lions, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, like this is just my view, I'm not in the system or anything like that. So it seems like players are just using Young Lions as just a platform, hoping that the other clubs will actually sign them, So I'm not too sure whether that project is actually bearing any fruits. Perhaps yes, perhaps there may be a few standout that actually make it to the other clubs and all that. But at the same time, like what Moose mentioned, by having a relegation and a promotion system, more clubs, at least you give these boys more chance, because I believe there's Young Lions and I believe there's a Singapore Sports School and all that. So I'm not sure how they are actually managing the grassroots. Because in terms of talent pool, I think there isn't a problem. I feel
no problems. The academies and whatnot, no problems.
So
it's all about channeling.
Correct. It's all about funneling the right, the right system, the right idea, and all this like what Mus share, policy makers, everything holistically, the whole ecosystem will actually need to play a part, because in terms of population and football, players and all that, we are never short of that. Although yes, I have to admit, I mean I might be biased because I'm also born in the 80s. So But I feel like players back then are more talented. I feel. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Nowadays are more technical, correct? But I
Correct.
think back then, we are talking about talent players, where players whom I grew up just playing street soccer. But you know, this kind of player, I think if they were to make it big, they can probably end up somewhere because
Correct,
those
correct.
players are really ballers. You know, they
Yeah,
can really
correct, correct.
play ball. But of course,
Yeah.
yes, I do believe that to get into a system sometimes yes it requires discipline, it
Mm.
requires commitment. You need to attend certain things.
Mm.
Because yes, I do have friends last time also who are good players, but sometimes they're just lazy for training, or
That's
sometimes
right.
they just don't want to commit. Or sometimes
That's
they
right. That's
just
right.
prefer playing for fun because to
That's
them
right.
is football is for fun, for
Mm.
me. So
Yeah.
I can express myself and all that. They are not rigid by
Mm.
the system. Lah. So
Mm.
yeah, but I believe hoping for good things, lah, especially for young lions. I believe me and Faiz, we always talk about young lions every season. We always hope for them to at least get out of that losing duck and hopefully, try to build that kind of winning mentality. Lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we even discussed at one point. We think, why not we give them an estate? We stop calling them young lions and make them feel always young. Start giving them.
Mm.
I mean, there are so many estates in Singapore, right, that you can name.
Mm.
I mean, back then
Correct.
that's how we named the club. Yeah, just name them. I
That's
don't
right.
know. Just give them an own identity, an own club, so
Yeah
they
lah.
don't feel like, oh, we are just young lions. We are just fledglings. It's okay
Mm.
to lose. And then you see the goal difference. You are like, wow, this is
Yeah.
That's
you
right.
know. So yeah, but that's just my take lah.
Yeah
Yeah,
lah.
really hoping that this season
Understand.
will be
Understand.
better. Mm.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
No disrespect or because I also went through the system as well. Actually, thrust into the system. But then again, when I think about it, if I was given my first professional contract by Home United that time by Mr. David Conceição, the previous manager of Home United back then. And then I look at the lineup of the Home United team back then, you got Ekmah, you got Indra, you got all those national players, even Imran Muhammad, if I'm not wrong, his name was. But I've got competition lah, and then my playing time will be limited. So that's why I chose to go to the Young Lions because maybe I get better competition. But to look back right now, I don't think any good league in the world anywhere do not put their under 20 best under 23 in their own league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's
They
right. To form a
couldn't do
club.
that.
Yeah,
Correct.
correct.
So they should have a feeder team by the under 21s or send them back to the under 21s.
Yeah,
Strengthen the under 21s, make
that's
the
right.
under 21 league strong.
Mm.
Once that league is strong, then they have to earn the right to play in the first team. That's
That's right.
how you get better players. Not
Mm.
put them into one team and then just hope for the best because
Yeah,
it has not succeeded. We have not gotten any gold medals in the SEA Games. We've not won
yep,
any AFF Suzuki Cup,
that's right.
which I
Yeah.
feel that shouldn't be our target. We should go to the Asian Games and the Asian Cup, the Asian League. I
Yep.
don't know lah. I
Yep.
can go on and on.
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree because we do have that footballing history in us. We were
Yeah,
at one point one of the best in Southeast Asia,
that's
like
right.
like legit one of the better teams. I mean, nations lah, footballing nations. But
Yeah.
yeah, to see it come to this way, I
If I
believe,
may add,
yeah.
our league was something back then when Thai players,
Mhm.
Burmese players
Yep.
want to come to our league to play. But
Correct.
now where our local players go? Our
Yeah.
local players go to the Malaysian
Going to
league and go into the
Thailand,
Thai
yeah,
league and play.
that's right.
What does it say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yep.
So that one they say is a very good example that our league is not doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
times have
agree.
changed. And I think like also what I'm not sure whether anyone maybe realize or what, but I do notice actually. You know how normally every season in the Singapore Premier League, the first will get to go to the AFC Champions League qualification, second will go to the AFC Cup. As of
Mm-mm.
last season, actually, the AFC Champions League qualification are no longer there. So basically, whoever finished first, you are only going through AFC Cup, and that's it. So basically, I
You can
believe what happened was our Singapore League coefficient ranking has clearly dropped.
drop.
Yeah. So that clearly kind of, if that doesn't say a lot, I don't know what is.
Yeah lah. And then again, I do not want to blame the players solely, but sometimes they have to carry whatever the burden they have to carry. The quality must be there. You have to be able to okay lah, just like you see, I give you an example. Our lady sprinter, Shanti Pereira.
Oh yeah.
It's before that she wasn't given any sponsors or whatsoever, just minimal sponsorship.
Yeah.
After she did well in the Asian Games and whatnot, right? She got medals for that.
Yeah.
That's where sponsorships and attention comes in.
Mm.
It's the same also lah for football. You
Yeah.
just got to
Yeah.
do the business on the pitch,
Yeah.
man.
You just have
Right,
to
you got to do
do a lot of
ah,
talking in the pitch. Yeah.
yes, right. You got to let your feet do the talking, then you can see something.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
True. That's true. I mean, of
Mm.
course, from here and out, we can, as like what I always say, we can only hope, of course, for the best for the Premier League
That's
in
right.
general, and of course,
Yeah.
football will always be there as long as Singapore still have football.
Mm.
I'm still quite happy with it. But if it can be better, please do. You know why not?
Yeah, correct.
All right.
Correct.
So
And then
we,
furthermore, yeah. Okay, you want
yeah.
to finish? Yes?
No,
Go,
no,
go, go.
no. It's all right. Continue first, sir. Continue.
Oh, what I wanted to say was also with the limited amount of playing areas like in Singapore also plays a very big part. Back when we were growing up, I do not know when were you born in the 80s as well, bro. This is Faiz.
Yeah. 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 No,
You
I'm
born
actually 90s, but yeah.
okay about the same time lah. We can just drop by the basketball court and just play until we were shouted at lah by our moms to come back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But
how
the
we
kids
do.
nowadays are
Yeah.
not the same. The kids
Yeah.
nowadays
That's
are not the
true.
same anymore.
That's very
Everything
true.
else, so that also plays a part lah at the dwindling quality of football in Singapore.
It's kind of like the
Mm.
heritage just starts from, from the roots, from
Correct,
basically
correct.
from the void decks and open
Correct.
fields and basketball court,
Yeah.
like what you said. Any
Mm.
form, people will just play football. But nowadays, yeah,
That's
like
right.
what you, maybe cultural change has kind of take part.
Uh,
Like we're coming into more into social stuff. But
yeah,
at
correct,
the
correct,
same
correct.
time, like what you say, football is still one of the biggest sports in the world by far,
Yeah, correct.
and
Yeah,
if the interests are there, it is more encouraged for them to be, doing more of these kind of sports. I mean, it would be
that's right.
encourageable, right? I mean,
Mm.
after all, I'm pretty sure that's what the government will want us to do, be more healthy at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah. How else to be more healthy? Man? It's cheapest form of sport. Man. Just get a ball, you can run 20 players, can chase one ball.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's right. I would rather chase the ball than running around the track. I
That's
would rather
right.
do
Yeah,
that. You ask me
that's
to
right.
run
Yeah.
10 rounds around the track every time during football training back in the schooling
Mm.
days, I would dread.
Yeah,
But you give me
that's
a
right,
ball
man.
from 10 a.m.
Yeah,
to 6 p.m., no problem, man.
no,
I
no
can
problem.
continue.
No
I
problem,
can
I can do.
continue with sweat
Mm.
buckets, whatever, take out shirt with shirt. After that, shirt change color also. I can still play football, man. So
That's
yeah, that's
right.
what it is.
True, true, true. That's true. All right, with that, we come to the end of the part one of our podcast. And of
Okay.
course, firstly, I want to say thank you to Mr. Moose for joining us for part one. And
Yeah.
I hope you actually enjoy. And of course, for the viewers at home and the listeners as well, I do want to apologize. I believe there might be a bit of a technical difficulty in the start. I'm not too sure how this is actually going to pan out after this, but I'll do my best to salvage as much as I could for our podcast for today. Mr. JB as well, thank you for joining as well. Ready for part two because do stick around. We're going to have been a long time since we do this actually, a Football Focus SG quiz that we normally have against with a celebrity or guest that we're facing, which is basically our champion,
Celebrity
Mr.
lah.
Yeah, yeah. So Mr. JB is the champion in killing all these celebrity when it comes to quiz. So the hope everyone do stick around. Don't forget to, of
Mm-mm.
course, do the usual things like share, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Share
Mm-mm.
with us your input as well. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.